Hello guys, I'm Sanket Jain, a medical student at Vinitsa National Medical University, and I'm an inspiring mind student. And here I'm with a new video of my anatomy series with a very high topic, that is brachial plexus. And guys, I'll continue to bring such amazing videos for you. For that, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at Inspiring Minds Coaching. And for better revision of the topics, you can also join our Telegram channel at IM Coaching FMG 2020. And in this video we'll be discussing about the brachial plexus, its formation and its various branches, while in another video we'll be discussing about the injuries related to the brachial plexus. So before proceeding, let me just tell you that what actually is brachial plexus. Brachial plexus is a somatic nerve plexus. It contains most of the somatic nerves that supplies your upper extremity or upper limb, and any kind of injury or any kind of lesion to these nerves have a certain manifestation. So brachial plexus starts from the neck and ends in the axilla. So it is a somatic nerve plexus from neck to axilla, and it is formed by ventral primary rami. Here is the important term, ventral primary rami of C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1 nerves. It is formed by the ventral primary rami of C5 to T1 spinal nerves. In very few cases, C4 and T2 are also included, but in majority of the cases we just have C5 to T1. Now, your brachial plexus is divided into four parts: roots, trunks, divisions and cords. So before I write these names, let me just explain you that how these parts are formed, so that when I'll be writing these names later on, it will be more easily understandable. So let's just see that how these parts are formed. So here is your C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. Now the roots from C5 and C6, they become friends and will continue together. C7 is brave enough, so it will walk alone. And C8 and T1 will again become friends and continue together. Now the roots from C5 and C6, they will continue as your upper trunk, superior or upper trunk. C7 will alone continue as middle trunk, and C8 and T1 will continue as a lower trunk or inferior trunk. So the roots will continue as upper trunk, lower trunk and middle trunk, upper, middle and lower trunk. Now your each trunk has an anterior division and a posterior division. Now let's see that how these divisions work. We'll be using different colors for each anterior and posterior division. So this is the, suppose this is the anterior division of your upper trunk, and similarly here is the anterior division of your lower trunk, and here is the posterior division of your middle trunk. So I have used orange color for anterior divisions and blue color for the posterior division. Now what about the posterior divisions of the upper trunk and the lower trunk? The posterior division from the upper trunk will join the posterior division of the middle trunk. Similarly, the posterior division from the lower trunk will also come here. And what about the anterior division of the middle trunk? The anterior division of the middle trunk will join the anterior division of the upper trunk. Now the anterior division of the upper trunk and middle trunk will continue as a lateral cord. Similarly, all three posterior divisions, that is posterior division of upper, middle and lower trunk, they will together continue as posterior cord, and now the anterior division of the lower trunk alone will continue as your medial cord. And how am I calling them as lateral cord, posterior cord or medial cord? This is on the basis of axillary artery. More precisely, the second part of axillary artery. Suppose for instance that here is an axillary artery. You can see that this is lateral to the axillary artery, so it is lateral cord. This part is posterior, so it is posterior cord, and this is the medial, so it is the medial cord. So this is how the naming is done for the cords. So here is the lateral cord, posterior cord, and medial cord. So now you can clearly infer that our brachial plexus is now divided into the four parts: the roots that will combine or that will continue as trunks. Each trunk has an anterior and posterior divisions, and finally we have the cords. So roots will continue as trunks, trunks will have divisions, and divisions will continue as your cords. Now let's see that what nerve arises from the what part of the brachial plexus. So first of all, branches from the roots. Alright, so from the roots you have two branches. One is from C5 only. Let's call it as 1. And another one is from C5, C6 and C7. So one branch is from C5 and another is from C5, C6, C7. Let's see what are these branches. So the branch from C5 that we named as 1 is dorsal scapular nerve. So dorsal scapular nerve will supply your three muscles, that is levator scapulae, rhomboideus major and rhomboideus minor. It will supply these three muscles. So this was the 1, and the branch from C5, 6 and 7 is long thoracic nerve. And long thoracic nerve supplies only one muscle, that is serratus anterior. And in case of any injury to long thoracic nerve, there is winging of scapula, which the details we'll be discussing in the next video. Now let's see that what are the branches from the trunks. Among the upper, middle and lower trunk, only your upper trunk gives branches. There are no branches from middle and lower trunk. So from the upper trunk we have two branches. Let's name them as 3 and 4. So this was the 2. Alright. And the upper trunk, the root value of the upper trunk will be C5 and C6. So it is C5 and C6. Now let's see. The first branch is suprascapular nerve. Suprascapular nerve will be supplying two muscles, that is supraspinatus and infraspinatus. Supraspinatus helps in your 0 to 15 degree of abduction, that is initial abduction of your arm. So if there is any injury to suprascapular nerve, there will be no initial abduction. So and similarly the another nerve is, so this was a 3 according to the diagram, and the another nerve is nerve 2 subclavius. As the name suggests that this nerve will go to your subclavius muscle. And while going to subclavius muscle, it might give off a branch. It gives off a branch that is known as accessory phrenic nerve, whose root value is C5. And this was your fourth nerve. So the question can be tricky, right? Accessory phrenic nerve is a branch of A, phrenic nerve, B, nerve to subclavius. So those who do not know the answer will definitely go to the phrenic nerve because of the name. But actually accessory phrenic nerve is a branch of your nerve to subclavius. Now let's see that what are the branches from the cords. Each of your cord, that is lateral, posterior and medial cord, give off different branches. Let's see that what are the branches from the lateral cord. You can remember them with a mnemonic, that is LML. Simple, LML. Now here the first L is lateral pectoral nerve. Lateral pectoral nerve, it will cross your CPF. It crosses your CPF, that is clavipectoral fascia, and then it will supply pectoralis major muscle and sometimes pectoralis minor. That is, it will definitely supply pectoralis major, but it may supply pectoralis minor sometimes. Now the M here is musculocutaneous nerve, very important. Musculocutaneous nerve. Musculocutaneous nerve supplies the BBC muscles of your arm. What are the BBC muscles of your arm? That is biceps, brachialis and coracobrachialis. It supplies these three muscles, and your musculocutaneous nerve will further continue as lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm. After supplying the BBC muscles in your arm, it will continue as these three nerves. It will continue as lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm. And now the other L is lateral root of median nerve. So actually the median nerve has two roots. If I just go back to the diagram here, the medial nerve has two roots. One root arises from the lateral cord and another root arises from the medial cord. These two roots combine and together form your median nerve. So this is how your median nerve is formed. So from the lateral cord you have just the lateral root of median nerve. Now let's see what are the branches from the posterior cord. From the posterior cord you have 5 branches and the mnemonic for them is lunar. Some people also call the mnemonic as ulnar, but I prefer lunar because there is no ulnar nerve in here. Ulnar nerve is in your another cord, so you may be confused. So here the mnemonic is lunar. Now here the L is lower subscapular nerve. And as the name suggests, this lower subscapular nerve will definitely supply subscapularis along with teres major muscle. The next is upper subscapular nerve. Upper subscapular nerve will solely supply your subscapularis. The next, N. Nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal nerve. Thoracodorsal nerve or nerve to latissimus dorsi that will supply your latissimus dorsi muscle, aka thoracodorsal nerve. Next, axillary nerve. Axillary nerve will supply your deltoid muscle and teres minor. Teres major was supplied by lower subscapular, teres minor will be supplied by axillary nerve, and the last one, that is R, is your radial nerve. We will be having a separate video on radial nerve. Now let's see what are the branches from medial cord. From the medial cord, we have again 5 branches, and the mnemonic for them is M for U. When we go to someone and say M for U, this is what here, M for U. Out of these, we have 4 M and 1 U. So the first M here is medial root of median nerve. There we studied the lateral root. Here we have the medial root of median nerve. Now we have the medial pectoral nerve. There we had the lateral pectoral nerve. Here we have medial pectoral nerve that will definitely supply your both pectoralis major and pectoralis minor muscle. Another one is medial cutaneous nerve of arm. This is the medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, and this U is the ulnar nerve. Again, we'll be having a separate video on ulnar nerve. And guys, there are 5 terminal branches. That is, suppose that here are your cords. The terminal branches arising from each cord, like the terminal branch arising from a lateral cord is musculocutaneous. Musculocutaneous nerve. Similarly, the terminal branch from a posterior cord, one is the axillary nerve, another one is the radial nerve, and the terminal branch from a medial cord is the ulnar nerve, and your median nerve is itself a terminal branch. So there are 5 terminal branches from your cords, that is musculocutaneous, axillary, radial, ulnar and median nerve. So this was about the brachial plexus and its various branches, its formation. In next video we'll be talking about the injuries related to the brachial plexus. If you have any doubt, you can comment below in the comment section and I'll try to reply all of them. Thank you so much guys.